Hey guys, Redty here with a special addition to our Pokemon Yellow playthrough. With this new year coming and going, I decided that I wanted to set a little New Year's resolution. My big one this year regarding this channel is for me to get 200 subscribers. I don't know if we will see that happen, but setting a goal is the first step in seeing things happen. But my smaller, more doable New Year's resolution for this video is for the first time in my life, yes, I'm approaching my mid-30s and I've never done this before, I'm going to attempt to complete the PokeDex in Pokemon Yellow. Yep, I got this game when I was 7 years old, and sure, I haven't been playing Pokemon my whole life continuously, but I always wanted to complete the PokeDex in this game. I just never really got around to trading up all of my Pokemon for them to evolve, and then the trading was difficult too because it took a while before I got a link cable. Now, I am not going to be completing the Pokedex on an original game save file from my childhood, but instead we are just going to continue with the save file that we used for the 25th anniversary Yellow version playthrough. Now, we did play this game kind of quickly, and we didn't really spend much time catching Pokemon besides building out a party to beat the game. So let's see what the damage is. Well, I am standing in front of Mewtwo. I must have forgotten to save after we caught it for the last video. So far we have 132 Pokemon that we've seen, and we have captured 27 of them. Which means we need to see 19 more Pokemon and capture a whopping 123 to complete the Pokedex. Well, we could catch Mewtwo right now since we are right in front of it, but I think it would be better if we save this guy for the end. We'll be right back, Mewtwo. So we have a lot of work to do, and we have to start somewhere, so I figured the best place to start is Pallet Town and catch any Pokemon we did not catch in the early game. Which means we start our Pokedex completion challenge by catching a Rattata, which was actually hard since I didn't have any Pokemon in my party that could weaken this guy without knocking it out. So we just threw Pokeballs at it while it was at full health. I did eventually put it to sleep with Legends Sleep Powder, which might have helped, but the little rat still broke out a couple of times while it was asleep. But in the end, we caught it. We then did the same thing when it came to Pidgey, and after 2 struggles, we now have 2 more entries in our Pokedex. From there, I moved on to Route 22 to catch a female Nidoran. Again, the sleep powder and Pokeball spamming is not working really well, but it is still getting the job done. After catching these 3 Pokemon, I fly over to the Indigo Plateau and head to a spot near the end of Victory Road. This is an area you're going to see me spend a lot of time in during this challenge. In this location, I switch train all 3 of my new additions to our team until they evolve into a Nidorina, a Pidgeotto, and Raticate. And while we're at it, I go ahead and grind up our Abra so it can evolve into Kadabra. From there, we also catch a Geodude while on Victory Road. Catching it here helps us since it is at a higher level, which means it is going to take way less work to grind it. Sure enough, we get a Graveler before you know it. And after that quick evolution, we go back to Bill's PC and get our Mankey that we used to help beat Brock. Well, this guy is finally getting his evolution into Primate. We still have Pidgeotto in the party, so it takes a while, but we eventually get it to level 36, so it can evolve into Pidgeot. With these evolutions complete, I change gears to some evolutions that cannot be completed by leveling up, starting with giving our newly acquired Nidorina a Moonstone, so she evolves into a Nidoqueen. We will need more Moonstone for other evolutions, so we actually need to make a slight detour to Mount Moon for more Moonstones. While there, we catch a Zubat, a Sandshrew, a Paras, and a Clefairy. It took a long time to find the Clefairy, and that was because I found out after a bunch of wasted time that you can only find these guys on the lower level of the cave. And they have a low encounter rate, but we found one and we can move on from there. Outside of Mount Moon, we kept the catch spree going by catching a Spearow, a our box is full. BRB, a Jigglypuff, and then I went way off the beaten path and spent some of our money on coins at the Rocket Game Corner in Celadon so we could get a Vulpix and Scyther. Yeah, that last move does seem kinda random, I just needed to shake things up since I was getting a little bored with these early level catches. Trust me, this is not the last time we will see the Rocket Game Corner in this challenge. Okay, back to the wild Pokemon encounters. We soon catch a Bellsprout, a Venonat, and an Oddish. Guys, that's actually number 50. We are technically a third of the way there. From there, I decided to start on the Safari Zone portion of the challenge. There are several Pokemon that we can only get in the Safari Zone, and some of them are notoriously hard to catch, so we might as well take a swing at it and see how things go. Fun fact, did you know that if you are low on money and you don't have enough for what the Safari Zone asks for, they don't actually turn you away? Instead, they still let you go inside, but they give you fewer balls than the 30 that they usually give you. I didn't know that, so that was a fun little discovery. It took several attempts, and full disclaimer, I used emulation to make this possible, but I did get a Tauros while we were in here. Now we just have 100 Pokemon left to get. While in the Safari Zone, we also get a Cubone, but besides that, we didn't really catch anything else. Besides, we are now completely broke. Real low times for this Pokemon champion. All the fame and publicity went to his head, and like most child stars, we don't handle the money wisely at all. So we head back to Elite 4 and defeat them and our rival, and we now have some money back in our bank. We use some of our new cash to take another trip to the Safari Zone. We catch a Scyther... Wait, do we already have one of those? Crap, yeah, we do. Well, it's so cool we caught one here. We also catch a Kangaskhan, a Rhyhorn, and an Execute. Now, while we are here, I also try to get a Dratini by fishing with our Super Rod, but all we see is a bunch of Magikarp. We do catch one because technically we need one, and eventually we see a Dratini, and it does take a while to catch, but we are eventually successful. Also soon after we catch Dratini, we come across a Marowak that we catch as well. We do another run through the Safari Zone, and we do catch a couple more Scythers. Why? I don't know. We don't really need them. I'm just surprised how many we have seen in the series and how easy they have been to catch. Outside of that though, we don't see anything worth mentioning on the Safari visit. That being said, we do still catch a Pokemon outside of Fuchsia City, Doduo. After that, we head back north to Celadon. We buy some leaf stones at the Celadon department store, and then we head to a neighboring building to get the EV found in the room at the top of the building. I know we have 3 evolutions we need to worry about, but we will address that later. I do have a plan. There is no Leafeon in this generation, so for the time being, one of the only evolutionary stones we have is used on the Execute we just caught, so we can evolve it into Executor. Now, most of you know that the other 2 leaf stones we have are going to be used on Bellsprout and Oddish, but all in good time. We have to get back to grinding them to their second evolution forms. But before that, we focus on grinding Magikarp to Gyarados. More Switch training, and Victory Road is the place to do this, and it really doesn't take too long to accomplish. After that, we focus on evolving another weak Pokemon by getting Zubat to a high enough level to evolve into Golbat. This is followed by getting Oddish to evolve into Gloom, and we waste no time giving our new Gloom a Leaf Stone to evolve it into Vileplume. Next we focus on Spearow, and this is another quick turnaround getting it to level 20 so it can evolve into Fearow. From there we get Paris to turn into Parasect, and then we get Bellsprout to evolve into Weeping Bell. Then we use our Leaf Stone for it to instantly turn into Victory Bell. We have made a nice bit of progress so far in this challenge. Anyway, the evolutions do not stop there though. Sandshrew follows by evolving into Sandslash, and then we switch focus to the Kabuto that we got from the Dome Fossil earlier in the playthrough. It took a little while since this thing needs to reach level 40, and it is fairly weak, but we did get to Kabutops. Wait, while I was trying to get the item finder, Oak's Aid said that we have caught 71 different Pokemon. And my list says we are at 70, so I don't know which Pokemon I forgot to mention. Hopefully I figure that out soon because this is going to bother me until I get it straightened out. Hey, Future Rayte here, I forgot to count Eevee while writing the script. Might have something to do with the fact that we don't catch it in the wild, so my brain didn't think about counting it. Anyway, back to the video. Which means the Diglett we just caught in Diglett Cave is number 72. We then catch a Growlithe and a Grimer at the Pokemon Mansion. We then head back to Celadon and buy some more evolutionary stones and then rapidly evolve Clefairy into Clefable, Jigglypuff into Wigglytuff, Growlithe into Arcanine, and Vulpix into Ninetales. We are now officially past the halfway point, which should make some of you think things are going to get easier from here, but we still have a lot to do. One thing we really haven't focused on much so far is the majority of the water types in this game. We fix that by catching a Tentacool, a Slowpoke, a Krabby, a Staryu, and a Seal. Once we catch all these water types, I give Staryu a Water Stone to evolve it into Starmie. Tentacool we need to switch train, but it takes hardly any time at all to get it to evolve into Tentacruel. And it is a similar story getting Slowpoke to Slowbro, Krabby to Kingler, Seal to Dugong, and then we switch to the non-water types by getting Grimer to evolve into Muck, Venonat to Venomoth, Diglett to Dugtrio, and Doduo to Dodrio. That's enough grinding for a while. Let's catch some more Pokemon. We head to the power plant and catch a Voltorb, a Magnemite, and then we head out of there to catch a Psyduck. Drowsy, Horsey, Goldeen, and a Poliwag. And now we're back to grinding. Voltorb is next to evolve, becoming Electrode. Poliwag follows by first evolving into Poliwhirl, and then immediately touching a Water Stone to turn it into Poliwrath. Horsey's next, evolving into Seadra. Goldeen evolves into Seaking. Magnemite evolves into Magneton, and finally Psyduck turns into Golduck. Okay, we have made a lot of progress. In the middle of all these evolutions I just mentioned, we officially passed the 100 PokeDex entries mark. And we still have many more Pokemon to catch and evolve, but we are starting to approach a major hurdle. Pokemon Yellow is just like any mainline Pokemon game, meaning that it wants us to catch every Pokemon available in this generation, but not every Pokemon is available to catch in this game alone. Now, if you have seen some of my other videos, you are aware that I did finally learn how to trade Pokemon through MGBA, but for some reason lately I've had issues saving and accessing save files after trade. Don't worry, I haven't lost any progress, it's just that I like to use RetroArch with an MGBA emulator, and for some reason I can't trade Pokemon unless I do it through MGBA alone without RetroArch. Which is fine, I mean the trade goes through and it can be completed without a hitch, but if the file format for the save files is different than the format RetroArch uses for saves, I can't continue playing through RetroArch. After some online research, it looks like it is extremely easy to change the file to the correct format for RetroArch to use, but after using multiple methods to do this, my computer would still not recognize the save files as valid. As you can imagine, this will cause some problems for us if we truly want to complete the PokeDex, which we do, but for the time being, we have an old and tried way of getting around this while not leaving the game. Now I know some of you are asking, ReadyTay, you just said earlier that Yellow version was made with certain Pokemon not being catchable in the game. If we can't catch them in the game and they are not gift Pokemon, how are we going to obtain them? In which I'm going to let Mew Species respond. Do you remember how we got him? Yep, with the Mew glitch. Now I did already go into detail about this in an earlier video of this series, but here is a quick rundown for those that need the refresher. We got to a spot where we were out of sight from a far away trainer. We then walked into this trainer's line of sight. Before it could notice us, or before the exclamation point popped up above their head, we had the Abra we currently had in our party teleport us away to a Pokemon Center. From here we entered a weird glitched limbo where we didn't have access to all of our buttons, like the start button, to access our game menu. This is because the game thinks we should be in a battle right now, where the start button has no use. But, as you can see, we're not, but instead we're just free roaming on the game map. Anyway, we then head north past Nugget Bridge and make our way carefully to the battler that has the Slowpoke, without triggering any battles with anyone else. We battle and hopefully defeat the Slowpoke, head back to Cerulean, where out of nowhere our game menu pops up. We exit out of it, and then we are forced to have a battle with Mew. Mew was technically programmed into the game, but it was never programmed in a way for you to catch it in the wild or in a storyline. Now, the reason Mew popped up in this instance is all based off of the Slowpoke we just faced. All the Pokemon in the game are tied to a numerical list file in the game, and after we battle something and head back to the location where we started the glitch, the game forces a battle to occur to correct the glitch we forced upon it. There's just one problem. There is not a set opponent for us to face. Because of this, the game must fill in the blanks for this battle to happen. The way the code is written in the game, it will take the special stat of the last Pokemon we defeated, take that as a numerical value, match it to the numerical entry on this list, and it will place that corresponding Pokemon in the battle we are forced to partake in. And it just so happens that this Slowpoke has the exact special stat that corresponds with Mew's entry on the list. So, Mew is the Pokemon we face, and we get the opportunity to catch. Well, just to fill in some blanks we have in our Pokedex, we can make some adjustments to use this glitch to our advantage. This will also help us fix a glaring issue that comes with playing Yellow version. Some of you might already know what I'm referring to, but if you don't, you will know by the end of the video. The changes we have to make kind of change the name of the glitch, and online this glitch is sort of known as the Fly or Dig Trainer glitch. I may or may not have a long project on this that I really need to get back to working on. Anyway, for us to actually benefit from this glitch, we need to figure out some information, with the most important part being, where does the Pokemon we want to catch fall on that list? Well, I decided to go small and focus on the first gap we have in our Pokedex, and that would be Weedle and its whole evolution line since we can't catch them normally in Yellow version. I have already done a lot of research on this glitch, so I know where Weedle is located on the list, and that is entry 112, which means we need to battle a Pokemon with a special stat of 112. Now this is where we come across a major hurdle. How do we know an opponent's or wild Pokemon has a special stat of 112? This game doesn't really provide us with that information. Well, some gamers, many years ago, found the solution, and you need to change your perspective to find the answer to this problem. We don't need to make a major stab in the dark and hope a random Pokemon has a special stat value we need. Instead, we need a Pokemon we currently have to have a special stat of 112, and we need to fight a very specific Pokemon, and that Pokemon is Ditto. Gamers found out that when Ditto uses Transform, it doesn't just copy the type, look, and moves of the Pokemon it is transforming into, it also copies their stats. Which means if we carry out this glitch and fight a random Ditto, get it to use Transform to copy our Pokemon's special stat, end the battle, and return to the original location of the glitch, the forced Pokemon will be Weedle. Luckily for us, Nidoking Special is a little below 112, so we just have to do a little bit of grinding, and there you go. First hurdle is solved. Now, in red and blue, while Ditto can be seen on the route east of Fuchsia City, but in yellow, for whatever reason, they have moved it to the basement level of the Pokemon Mansion on Cinnabar Island. This does pose some additional hurdles that we need to get past if we want this glitch to work, and there was a point where I really thought we were not going to be able to fully do this. The whole thing was very much a learning experience, and some of you would think the first problem we have to face is getting to Cinnabar Island in the first place. This is actually really easy to solve. We start this glitch by getting ourselves set up in front of the same trainer we did the glitch with earlier, and walking into his line of sight. But this time we have Char use Fly to take us to Cinnabar Island. Easy peasy. Of course, we could have gone to Cinnabar Island's Pokemon Center, healed up, then gone to the trainer to start the glitch. In this instance, we've used Teleport and Warp to the Pokemon Center. That works too. The next obstacle was to walk into the Pokemon Mansion and make it all the way to the basement without fighting any of the Pokemon until we see Ditto. We don't want to mess this glitch up by adding any more special stat data into the glitch. Or, at least that's what I thought. I didn't realize until much later while troubleshooting this that we can run into all the wild Pokemon we want while we're here. The important point we need to follow is that the last Pokemon we need to face before heading back to the site of the glitch is a Ditto that's transformed into the Pokemon with the desired special stat we need copied. This is why you are seeing me rewind my gameplay and the early footage, because I was trying to back out of every wild encounter we came across, so the first Pokemon we encountered was a Ditto. Now, like I said, once we face a Ditto that has transformed with our special stat, we need to leave this area and not face another Pokemon. The best way to ensure this is to have some escape ropes handy so we can leave the Pokemon Mansion as soon as we exit the Ditto battle. Oh, and also, as soon as Ditto uses Transform, you can run from the battle. This has no negative impact on the glitch. It took a while, but eventually we did get to a Ditto. It transformed into Nidoking, we left the battle, and then we encountered a big problem. How do we get back to Nugget Bridge? We don't have access to our game menu, and that means we don't have access to our Pokemon using HMs, which helps us get to Cerulean City. This would be a whole lot easier if it was like the other generation games where if you face a body of water and hit A, the game asks you if you want to surf. Of course, that would add the extra problem that any wild Pokemon we came across would ruin our special stat number as we take the long way back to Cerulean City. It took some extra time looking stuff up online, but I did come across a possible solution. So, we go back to Pokemon Center, go to the PC. We can still access this because the A button still works. We go to Bill's PC and we change our storage box. To do this, the game forces you to save your progress. You save, and then reset your game, and from there your game menu should be accessible again. We did that, and it worked like a charm. I thought we were all set to complete this glitch, but we still had another problem getting in our way. We now have a way to get back to Nugget Bridge for the last part of the glitch to kick off, but when we get there, nothing happens. Okay, back to the internet. So it turns out the game still thinks we are stuck in a weird battle phase limbo, despite the fact that we have full access to all the buttons and our game menu. Apparently, when we did the glitch earlier in the playthrough, the fact that the youngster with the Slowpoke saw us, walked up, and started a battle is what the game needs to realize that a new battle has started. This is what sets everything up for a battle to trigger once we get back to Nugget Bridge. At this point, I was really disheartened and frustrated. I had a hard time believing this glitch was going to work due to us not having access to our game menu for surf or fly earlier. It was a huge accomplishment to find the workaround for that, but with this issue immediately popping up, I lost a lot of confidence that we would even be able to find a solution at this point. Now I did, by some stroke of luck, find out that there is a scientist I skipped the first time I went through the Pokemon Mansion that is still available to battle. So when I battled him, then faced the Ditto, got it to transform, we could easily escape the mansion, fly to Cerulean, and the glitch worked just fine. Once we got there, since we could get to Nugget Bridge, our game menu would pop up, we would close it, and lo and behold, we were forced to battle a level 7 Weedle. Now, this is progress, but there is a caveat. Like all Generation 1 games, this random scientist that battled to make this work was a one-off battle, meaning we could only complete the glitch once this way. So sure, we could do the fly trainer glitch in this game, but only once. And I was not going to waste this one-off for a Weedle. This leaves us with two options. Either we search for other random trainers that I skipped earlier and then head to the Pokemon Mansion to find Ditto, or we need to find another solution entirely. The only problem with the first option is I don't even know how many trainers are left that we still haven't battled. It's easily a needle in a haystack situation trying to find these battles. There has to be an easier way we can repeat the glitch as many times as we need in this challenge that doesn't solely rely on a finite number of trainer battles. So we are stuck back to square 3. We did solve some issues, so it's not like we are all the way back to the beginning, we just keep getting stuck in the middle of this glitch. At this point in the challenge, it still felt like this glitch wasn't meant to work in yellow version, but there was also a stubborn part of me that was determined to find a way for this glitch to do what we wanted it to do multiple times. Now, I was a little confused because during all of this time doing research, some people online said that we would need a Pokemon that knows Strength. It took some additional digging, but I finally found out why. Supposedly, moving boulders with Strength is the equivalent of having a battle start in the game, code-wise. Look, I really don't know the specifics, but the code counts these two instances as the same, and I can easily accept that. Along with this information came the tidbit that the best place to use Strength is at the Warden's house in Fuchsia City. This is because it's easy to get to, and you don't run the risk of encountering any wild Pokemon while you do it. This breakthrough was the final piece of the puzzle, and with everything in place, we had basically perfected the fly trainer glitch for this challenge. So, step 1, make sure you have a Pokemon that knows Fly, a Pokemon that knows Strength, and a Pokemon with the special stat we need Ditto to copy. This one needs to be right in the first position of your party, and you also need to have some escape ropes and Pokeballs in your inventory. Step 2, go to the closest city where the trainer that you're going to start the glitch is located and heal up at the Poke Center. Step 3, get yourself situated outside of the trainer's line of sight and save the game. Step 4, then move into the trainer's line of sight and hit the start button so the game menu pops up before they fully see you. Set things up to fly to Fuchsia City. The fly animation should start when the trainer's exclamation point pops up. Step 5. Once in Fuchsia, go to the Poke Center, but do not heal up. Instead, go to the PC and switch your Pokemon storage box, saving the game. Step 6. Reset the game, head to the Warden's house, and use Strength to move the boulder. Step 7. Fly to Cinnabar Island and head to the basement in the Pokemon Mansion. Don't worry about the wild Pokemon you come across, you can run away from them. Step 8, search for Ditto, and once you encounter one, do either a non-damaging move or use an item like the Pokeflute to waste a turn. Ditto will then use Transform, effectively copying the Pokemon special stat. Step 9, run away or end the battle by knocking out Ditto. Step 10, use an escape rope or dig, if you have a Pokemon that can do that. This should take you back to the Poke Center closest to the Glitch Trainer, in our case, that is Cerulean City. Step 11, walk back to the route of the Glitch Trainer, in our case, Nugget Bridge. And if this was all done right, the game menu will pop up, we exit it, and then we are battling and attempting to catch a level 7 Weedle. I've never been more excited to see that little worm. I felt so motivated from figuring out how to fully do this glitch that I knew I was going to be able to complete this challenge. I wanted to try and complete the whole thing right then and there, but also it was getting late and I figured it would be best to continue from here tomorrow. But the big takeaway is that we got a new skill under our belt and another Pokemon that we weren't supposed to be able to access in this game without trading. The next day we spent less than 5 minutes switch training Weedle and Victory Road so it could, in quick succession, evolve into Kakuna and Beedrill. At this point, I really wasn't in a grinding mood, so instead I wasted a stupid amount of time searching for Tangela in the patch of grass south of Palatown, just to find out that they actually can't be found there in yellow version. Well, that was a waste of time, so we went back to grinding since that feels more productive. And we do get stuff done here. Drowsy evolves into Hypno, which with the stat boost that comes with evolving, plus a few more levels, gets Hypno's special stat to 108. Which just so happens to be the number we need for the fly trainer glitch to give us the next Pokemon we can't naturally catch in the game. Any guess what that Pokemon is? That's right, it's Ekans, which we waste no time evolving to Arbok. Sticking with poison types, we then go to Lavender Town to catch a Ghastly, which we also quickly get going on evolving into Haunter. Now Haunter gets to help us catch another Pokemon that used to be out of our reach for us. We raise him up a few more levels so he has a special stat of 77, and we start another round of our favorite glitch. This time it provides a Meowth, which, sticking with our current trend, we evolve into Persian as soon as we can. By this point though, I'm starting to run low on money again, so I spend some time beating the Elite Four and the Champion several rounds so we can get some more money. Once I felt like I had enough, I spent a large portion of our earnings on the Rocket Game Corner so we could get Pinsir and add it to our collection. Also, since we now had a little more spinning room, I went ahead and took Dratini to the daycare because I really didn't feel like grinding this thing out 40 levels to fully evolve it. I really should have done this as soon as we got it. Another thing I should have done a long time ago in this challenge is catch Onyx, so I immediately do that in Victory Road. And come to think of it, we have encountered multiple Wild Ditto, but we still don't have their entry in the Pokedex either, so I catch that one too. I then changed my focus on Farfetch'd. I was on autopilot and I assumed we could get one by trading an NPC a Sparrow, so I went ahead and caught another one, but after looking for that NPC in Vermilion, I found out that you don't do that in this version, and that the Leaf-carrying bird can be found in the wild patch of grass on the route south of Lavender Town. We catch one, but I wish I didn't waste all that time catching another Sparrow. Shaking off that mistake, we then catch a Machop, and we get it to evolve into Machoke right after. There's another fighting type we still need to get. Do you know which one that is? I'll give you a hint. We need the fly trainer glitch for this one as well. Farfetch actually came in handy for this one. Sure, it dealt with a little grinding, but its special stat fell perfectly into place for us to have a random level 7 Hitmonchan pop up on Nugget Bridge. Remember, we got Hitmonlee at the fighting dojo earlier in the playthrough. We then catch Ponyta and quickly evolve it into Rapidash. After that, we catch Shellder, which is Pokemon 126, which means we have 24 Pokemon to go. Well, technically 24, because we evolve Shellder into Cloyster as soon as we catch it, since we had an open slot in our party and we still had a Water Stone in our pack. At this point, I felt like I couldn't ignore a task I've been putting off for a while. I mean, I could still put this off deeper into the challenge, but I figured we might as well tackle this issue now. So you might have noticed earlier in this video that I said I had to switch emulator formats in order to trade Pokemon on my computer. I could really only trade if I ran the game on standalone MGBA. Well, like I said, I was playing all of this footage on MGBA through RetroArch. Both of these options might have the 4 letters MGBA in them, but they are not the same. The main problem is that every format of game saves between these platforms are different. Going from RetroArch to standalone MGBA might be a little tedious, but it is doable, and we actually didn't have any complications when it came to the trading itself. We got Machoke to evolve into Machamp, Kadabra into Alakazam, Haunter into Gengar, and Graveler into Golem. Everything was looking good, but from there, my save files from MGBA could not be used to continue progress in RetroArch. Which sure, we could have continued the challenge in this format, but I had the settings and my controller better configured in RetroArch. So I wasted a lot of time trying to convert my MGBA save and state files so they could be used in RetroArch. And I was not successful. If anyone knows how to fix this issue, please let me know, because I was not successful in getting an MGBA save file to work here. So how did I get around this issue? Well, I'm not proud of it, but I kept the window open that had the session of me trading the Pokemon in MGBA, and then I took my RetroArch save file and edited Graveler, Kadabra, Haunter, and Machoke's data in PK Hex so they could be fully evolved and have the stats that their evolved forms had in MGBA after they evolved. I felt like this was the cleanest and most legal way of addressing this issue, but I didn't exactly feel great about it. But moving on from that though, because we are still using glitches in this challenge, and this isn't an official ready-take challenge, we shouldn't be feeling too guilty about it. I mean, we go right back to glitching it out after these trait evolutions by leveling up 25 to level 43 for us to get back to fighting a Ditto. This time the glitch gives us Jinx, another Pokemon we couldn't catch normally. Sticking in this vein, we also used Dugtrio to get Electabuzz, and Vileplume helped us complete this trio by getting us face to face with Magmar. This one, if I remember right, took forever to get because we had to grind up Tentacool, but his special ended up going past the value we needed. Then we had the same issue with Haunter, but we finally got Vileplume's special stat to land at exactly 51 for Magmar to pop up. I'm so glad we got that part over with. Moving on from that whole ordeal, I then wandered around Mount Moon to catch another Clefairy. This still took a little bit of time considering they have a low encounter rate, but we do catch one eventually. We then trade it to an NPC south of Pewter City so we can get Mr. Mime. We then fly back to Cerulean City, or Cerulean Cave to be more exact. Now I was originally going here to catch Lickitung, but when a Rhydon pops up and you still have a lot of levels of grinding left to evolve the Rhyhorn you already have, you go ahead and try to catch this one to save on time. A little more wandering and we do eventually come across a wild Lickitung. We catch it during this encounter and that's one more Pokemon down. We also get extremely lucky with Chansey popping up while we are trying to get out of the cave. These things are really hard to catch in the Safari Zone, so if the game wants to give us a better opportunity here, who am I to argue? Speaking of the Safari Zone, we are back in there again. Now I know, we don't really have any hard, rare Pokemon to catch here, but we still have Pokemon to catch, and this means we finally catch Tangela. Besides that, the only other thing we did in the session is we went ahead and tried our luck catching a Dragonair with our Super Rod. These things are not sporting a good encounter rate and it does take a lot of tries, but we stay persistent and one does finally show up. This is another Pokemon that would take a lot of grinding to evolve, so I technically saved time here. But we still need to evolve this fully into Dragonite, and that is going to take even longer since its evolution doesn't start until level 55 in this instance. Anyway, back to catching more unobtainable Pokemon. Dugtrio helps us with the Trainer Fly glitch again. This time it helps us catch a Coughing. After that it's caught, we change gears by getting Gengar ready to help us with the glitch. After some level ups, we put our Ghost in front of Ditto, and soon after we encounter an Omanyte on Nugget Bridge. If you remember, I got the Dome Fossil earlier in the playthrough. Guys, if my math is right, Omanyte is Pokemon 142 on our list, which means we just need to catch or evolve 9 more Pokemon and then we will finally have a Pokedex. With this motivation, we push on grinding Coughing up until it evolves into Wheezing, and then we switch Omanyte, which needs to level up 33 times before it can evolve into Omastar. This is actually more tedious than if we got this guy the normal way in the game, since the scientists on Cinnabar Island would give us an Omanyte at level 30, and the Trainer Fly glitch instead gives us a Pokemon at the default level of 7. But we teach Omanyte Surf, and this thing levels up pretty fast thanks to all the rock and ground types there are on Victory Road. After all that grinding, I decided to take a break from leveling up at Victory Road, but not before getting Vileplume to a new level where it can help us with our next hurdle in this challenge. We repeat the Trainer Fly glitch 3 times so we can catch an Eevee. You all know where this is going, so I figured it would be easier to catch 3 Eevee and evolve them than catch a Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon separately, where we would have to get a different special stat for each encounter. And this method worked pretty well, I think. We now have Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon, all 3 of the Generation 1 evolutions. The list of Pokemon left to get is getting much shorter now. Well, we are running out of excuses. We need to suck it up and focus on getting Porygon. I was putting this off because this guy is by far the hardest one to get at the Rocket Game Corner. You have to fill your coin case to the max to get this guy, and for me, I hate gambling. The slot machines in these games and in real life have never interested me. I feel like this is such a waste of time trying to get coins this way. The alternative though is battling the Elite Four over and over and over and over and over again until we get enough money to exchange into coins so we can get Porygon. I was feeling a little burnt out on battling them after all the times we fought them for money earlier, and this is supposed to be a challenge, so I figured, why not? Let's give gambling a try. Yeah, I hate this. We are having the worst luck on these machines, and I'm actually losing money faster than we get it back. You know what? Screw it. We are going back to battling the Elite Four and the Champion until we get enough coins. This still took a while, but at least the money is guaranteed here, and I could actually see progress with each win. Once all these rounds of battles were behind us, we had enough to build our coin case up to the value we needed, or so I thought. Turns out with the only exchange rate being 1,000 PokeDollars for 50 coins, by the time we get to 9,950 coins, the guy won't give us any more coins since he thinks he can't give us any more. Which is true in a way, since he can only give us 50 coins and the coin case caps at 9,999. We need 49 more coins. Well, we don't really have another choice. We have to go back to the slots. Yep, this is still an annoying, tedious process, but with the goal just being to get 49 coins, this is doable. We do get 9,909 coins after about 5 minutes on machines. I really shouldn't be complaining about this, that is not bad at all. Besides, we now have Porygon. We are really close to the home stretch now. I take our Dratini out of the daycare and grind it up to 1 level so it can evolve into Dragonair. I then put it back into the daycare for us to grind it another 20 levels while we run up and down the route where the daycare is so we can slowly level it up. We do this for a while, but then it starts getting late, so we call it a day. The next day I get ready to wrap this challenge up, and I am not in the mood to ride up and down the road to slowly grind up Dragonair. So instead I decided that we need to take the trainer fly glitch to the next level to get Dragonite sooner. No, we do not use the glitch to catch Dragonite. Where would the fun be in that? No. Instead, we're going old school. Look, this is still Generation 1, so there are really only 2 games older than the one we are currently playing. But we're going to try something I have only ever done in red or blue version. We are going to try and get infinite rare candies by encountering Messino. Most of us already know what Messino is, but for those of you who don't really know, it's essentially messed up data that is located in several spots of that list of all the Pokemon and characters we talked about earlier in the Trainer Fly glitch. There is no real Pokemon or character actually in these spots, but instead incomplete messed up code that you were never supposed to encounter in the game. We all know that this game is held together with tape, string, and a dream. And there are multiple ways to make Messino appear. Except in yellow version, the usual way to see Messino is not possible. The usual way to see Messino deals with you talking to the guy in Verdant City that teaches you how to catch Pokemon, and he just is not available in this version. But don't worry, because our trusty little trainer fly glitch can still help us out here, especially given the fact that there are multiple spots on the list where Messino are located, which means instead of trying to land perfectly on a specific special stat to get a specific Pokemon, we have multiple special stats we can aim for, and it just so happens that Char has a special stat that falls into a Messino slot. So we do the glitch and wow, this is a long black screen. Wait, is my game frozen? Oh, there it is. There's Messino. Why can't we do anything? Is this going to take as long as the black screen to load, or... No. Okay. The game is officially frozen. And that sucks. Apparently Messino is way more unstable in this version compared to red and blue. But if we try to look for a different form of Messino, then we might have better luck actually completing it, which will give us extra rare candies. But it will cost us some rare candies in the process. We have exactly 7 rare candies in our inventory, and we use 6 of them so we can get 25 to level 97. This works out perfectly since we need rare candies to get unlimited rare candies, so we can't exhaust all of them here. It turns out 6 is all we need to get 25 special stat to exactly 182, which is the magic number we need to get the fossil Messino. Online sources said that this is a more stable version of Messino, so maybe we can still get the item duplication glitch to work. And it turns out that fossil Messino is the way to go. The game doesn't freeze, and once the battle ends, we have Weird Symbol 9 rare candies, which is more than enough for us to get Dragonair to evolve into Dragonite. This means we just have one more Pokemon left to get, which technically we've already caught previously in the playthrough. Good thing we are in Cerulean City, so we only have to travel a little northwest back to Cerulean Cave. We travel all the way back to the end of the cave, walk right up to Mewtwo, and use the Master Ball for the capture. And there you have it, we have caught every single Pokemon. Wait, what's that? You said we're still missing one? Oh, well, I guess we can't ignore this any longer. Yellow version's mascot is Pikachu, obviously, and this game is based off of the TV show. In the show, Ash's Pikachu refuses to use the Thunderstone to evolve into Raichu in order to beat Lieutenant Surge. To stay true to this storyline, our Pikachu cannot evolve this game. But don't worry, we have this all sorted. For the last time, we used the Trainer Fly glitch in this challenge. I technically did this before we evolved to Dragonair to Dragonite since it got a special stat of 84 while we were giving it rare candies. From there, the glitch gives us a Pikachu that we can actually evolve, except it turns out you can't evolve any of the Pikachus in this game. This one rejected the Thunderstone too. Don't worry, it's not the end of the world. With some adjustment with the Carbos, we get Dragonair's special stat to 85, which produces a Raichu instead of a Pikachu through the glitch. So, this is it guys. I did technically catch Raichu before Mewtwo, but for this video, this is the last Pokemon we need to catch to have a complete PokeDex. Look at it guys. It's beautiful. For the first time in my life, I have captured all 150 Pokemon and completed a PokeDex in a game. It took several decades, but I finally did it. 7-year-old me would be so proud knowing that we actually accomplished this. Professor Oak seems really proud of us too. Which is different for us considering that most of the time when I play these games, it's due to a challenge where I'm just trying to beat the game with one specific Pokemon. And yeah, we need to catch some other Pokemon for HM use, but we rarely have over 10 entries in our Pokedex in these challenges. You can also print a certificate commemorating your accomplishment of completing the Pokedex, which you can print on a Game Boy printer, but I don't have one of those, so me showing this on the screen will have to do. Everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. This really is monumental for me completing something I wanted really badly as a kid. I appreciate everyone watching this, and hopefully this video serves as another bit of nostalgia for some of us watching. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to try and see if I can reach 200 subscribers by the end of this year. I don't want to be one of those guys, but the majority of my viewers are non-subscribers, so if you feel like helping change that statistic, then please subscribe. But if you don't feel like doing that, then please feel free to just check out some of my other challenges and leave comments about what you enjoyed, what challenges you'd like to see in the future, and any suggestions for improving these videos. I always appreciate creative input. Thanks for watching everyone, and until next time, Geronimo.